Ôi, cái bánh phở này không ngon nhá, cái bánh phở kia ăn liền ngon nhỉ. 3 đồng, 2 đồng 99 đấy. Hằng ơi, lấy ra xong rồi để cái cọng này chồng của Hằng. Chồng đi. Hôm nay cháu ra làm được bữa lăn tải ăn được không ạ? Hè cô lên chưa? Hè cô lên chưa? Tao có 3 rồi. Đây. Bạn nhìn chưa? Từ sáng mỗi người được con. 3 của đâu khác, con có khác. Đây là được túi rồi, lúc túi rồi. Ôi rau mùi ở chợ Hồng Kông nó bán rẻ, gọi là đi xuống xem. Rẻ là còn đắt cho nên rất là rẻ. Nó cứ sáng sáng là còn dễ ấy.
Let's have a conversation. If you disagree, if you agree, disagree, I would always love to hear your opinion, right? So I'm not doing much, right? But kind of bored, right? I'm bored. Ain't doing much. So if you guys are bored too, let's have a debate slash conversation. Let's have a debate slash conversation. If you guys are bored, right? You ain't doing much. But I can always expand on my talking points, right? I can always expand on these prompts. See if you guys understand my viewpoint. All right. All right. So I'll expand on my talking points. Right. Like I said, I mean, I'm bored. If you're bored, let's have a conversation. Ain't doing much. I'm down for a conversation. Opinion versus opinion. An aspect. All right. So these are some prompts for today. Let's talk about prompt 1. Right. Stop the lies. Women need men. I believe women need men. Right. I believe we need each other. Right. Men need women. Women need men. Okay. I believe we both need each other. But the common narrative of today's society, right? The common narrative of today's society is constantly saying that women don't need men. Men are not out here saying they're strong, they're independent, they don't need no woman, right? Men are not pushing the propaganda, the narrative that they don't need women. Women, right? At least in media, push the narrative that they don't need men. So, and it's a lie. Okay, unless you can build a house yourself, supply it with electricity, water, and all that shit yourself, and maintain the supply. You need a man, even for basic survival. Okay, you need a man for basic survival. You need a man to procreate, and you need a man to produce and foster good children, good future adults. You need a man, 100%. Hell, this kind of mindset, right? This kind of mindset, controversially, I think it's what's producing the Transformers, right? The Transformers, where we have a generation of men. We have some weak-minded men constantly getting the narrative, the propaganda uh that men aren't needed, right? That men aren't needed. So a lot of weak-minded men, a lot of young boys, a lot of young men growing up or being around society saying, "We don't need you. We don't want you." Well, what does that do to weak-minded men? It makes them want to be women, right? It makes them don't want to be men because society doesn't want them. Society doesn't need them. So guess what they do? They transform into women because we have society that says we don't need you, right? We don't need you. We don't want you. But they don't say that to women. So we get men transforming into women. I kind of think that's why we have a huge influx in the last couple of decades, last decade or two. All right, we have a huge influx of weak-minded men wanting to be women. All right, we got a huge influx of weak-minded men wanting to be women. So, so number two. I want to explain number two. Right, expand on my viewpoint of prompt two. I believe modern day feminism is pointless. Now it's about power, not equality. Right? I mean, if you want to argue it, yeah, maybe there was a time when women were, you know, trying to gain equality. Okay. You can argue about it. I think women were always trying to gain power, but they use equality as a front, right? Equality as a front just to, ease people in. But I think women wanted power all along. But now, excuse me. But now, 100% women are trying to get power. Because what equality are women fighting for? Right? In the West, women have equality. Hell, in certain cases, yeah. So, I mean, again, in certain cases, women have more rights than men in certain cases, particularly for court, right? I think women do a lot better in the court scene, right? Scenario than men, right? I don't know yeah, maybe it's not a right, but women have more social power, right? Than men do. So that's why I definitely believe that feminism today is pointless. I also believe feminism is poisonous. I believe that feminism is the root to a lot of modern day problems. I believe feminism is the root to a lot of modern day problems. Um, yeah, I mean, we're seeing a problem like that in what's happening in Asia. We see the problem what's happening in the West, but we're definitely seeing a faster decline, right? In places like China, Japan, Korea, right? Korea, like a lot of scientists or a lot of people are saying that in the next 50 to maybe 100 years, they will go extinct, right? I believe because of feminism. I believe it's because of feminism, right? Feminism brings about low marriage rates, high divorce rates, low birth rates. So, yeah, feminism is not good. Okay, I'll move on. Um, another prompt, right? Topic. Another topic. Dating is hard for men. Dating for men is a lot harder than it is for women, right? I believe it is. For average men, right? We're not talking about the Pookies, the Ray Rays, the Chaz, Tyrones, the high value men. No, dating is pretty easy or not as hard for those men, but definitely for majority of men, for average men, it is a lot harder, right? A lot harder. Women, there's more competition. Women have made more delusional, unrealistic, crazy standards than ever before, right? Standards that only the rarest of rare men can meet. The 3 6s, right? 6 feet. When honestly, most of the population is, I mean, like 15% of the population is over 6 foot, right? 6 inches, six figures. Six figures, maybe 20%. I believe. I think it's like 20%. Both men and women, right? Are six-figure earners. So women have unrealistic expectations and standards. So definitely harder for men than it is for women. Dating is only hard for women because women make it hard. Women themselves make dating hard. Like I said, the unrealistic and crazy standards that women have. Um, yeah, and their mindset, the unbearable attitude and mindset and behavior. More things to contribute to why dating is hard for women if you want to say it's hard. But it's only hard because again, women make it hard. Men, no. Men's sole existence makes dating hard, right? Men just existing and it's hard for them. So, all right. Prompt 4, right? It's a topic if you want to talk about it. Most women don't qualify for traditional relationships. They just qualify for 50-50. Okay. I think most women, right? Not all, but a lot of modern day women, they don't qualify for traditional relationships. Like a leader type man, provider and protector. Most women don't qualify for it. Right. They don't have the behavior, they don't have the mindset, the temperament to be in a traditional relationship. All right. I think women are unruly. They're combative. They're destructive. They're chaotic. They're not ladies, right? So I don't think women they don't qualify for traditional relationship. I think being a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife is a luxury that most people can't afford, and most women don't qualify for, right? And I'll hold men accountable too. I kind of think that a lot of men just don't have the leadership mindset. Okay, because again, leadership you have to be sometimes maybe a dictator, right? In a sense where you have to take charge because you have to do what's best for the situation, what's best for the future, right? And a lot of times that that requires a big bit of dictatorship because you know best. You should be. And a lot of men can't handle that power. Right? Can't handle that power, or they shirk from the power. So I don't think you know. I don't think hold men a bit accountable too. But I think most people, most women, only qualify for 50-50. 50-50. You can call it 100-100, but it's whatever. It's just how you divide the responsibilities. In the sense that both people should almost as equally as possible provide financially. Both people should, as equally as possible, do the domestic work, the child care, anything, right? As equal as possible. Like I said, you could call it 100-100, whatever, but it's still whatever terminology you want to use. It's kind of the same concept, right? You divide things as equally as possible. And you may think, oh, isn't traditional you dividing? No, because this is the thing where a lot of times a lot of women don't even think this is equal, right? A man is the one who's providing the roof over your head, paying for the bills. And yet, if he comes home, she still thinks should cook, clean, and take care of the children. So he has to do his work 100%, but then he has to come home and do your work 25 to 50% as well. Yeah, that's effed up. So that's why I don't think women qualify for a traditional relationship. All right, the fifth prompt, right? If you guys want to talk about, if you support women, if you support women for aborting their child, you must then logically, for it to make sense, you must also support a man for leaving his child, right? You support a woman doing whatever she wants with her body. You should support a man doing whatever he wants with his money. Because if a woman can shirk her, you know, responsibility as a parent, a man can shirk his responsibility as a parent as well. So if you believe in one part, you have to support the other part. That is logical, right? Because these two statements go together. They go together hand in hand. So, you know, that's the fallacy, right? Because a lot of women will say they support this part, right? The first part. The same women would not support the second part. They have no argument for that, right? The kind of say, oh, you know what? He has to take care of responsibility. Yeah, what about her? Right? So she's able to negate, uh, cancel her responsibilities, but he's not. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Hell, this is why this right here proves this one, right? This ideology, right? If you're against this, right? If you're against the second part right here, proves this part where women are after power, not equality. Yeah, it's not. I'm not getting as much traction on YouTube as I usually do. So it's kind of weird. All right, I guess that's it for today.